At that time, the disciples came to Jesus. They asked him, "Then who is the most important person in the kingdom of heaven?" Jesus called a little child over to him. He had the child stand among them. Jesus said, "What I'm about to tell you is true. You need to change and become like little children. If you don't, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Anyone who takes the humble position of this child is the most important in the kingdom of heaven. Anyone who welcomes a little child like this one, in my name, welcomes me." What if someone causes one of these little ones who believe in me to sin? If they do, it would be better for them to have a large millstone hung around their neck and be drowned at the bottom of the sea. How terrible it will be for the world because of the things that cause people to sin. Things like that must come. But how terrible for the person who causes them. If your hand or foot causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. It would be better to enter the kingdom of heaven with only one hand than go into hell with two hands. It would be better to enter the kingdom of heaven with only one foot than go into hell with 2 feet. In hell, the fire burns forever. If your eye causes you to sin, poke it out and throw it away. It would be better to enter the kingdom of heaven with one eye than to have 2 eyes and be thrown into the fire of hell. See that you don't look down on one of these little ones. Here is what I tell you. Their angels in heaven are always with my Father who is in heaven. What do you think? Suppose a man owns 100 sheep and one of them wanders away. Won't he leave the 99 sheep on the hills? Won't he go and look for the one that wandered off? What I'm about to tell you is true. If he finds that sheep, he is happier about the one than about the 99 that didn't wander off. It is the same with your Father in heaven. He does not want any of these little ones to die. If your brother or sister sins against you, go to them. Tell them what they did wrong. Keep it between the 2 of you. If they listen to you, you have won them back. But what if they won't listen to you? Then take 1 or 2 others with you. Scripture says, "Every matter must be proved by the words of 2 or 3 witnesses." But what if they also refuse to listen to the witnesses? Then tell it to the church. And what if they refuse to listen even to the church? Then don't treat them as a brother or sister. Treat them as you would treat an ungodly person or a tax collector. What I'm about to tell you is true. What you lock on earth will be locked in heaven. What you unlock on earth will be unlocked in heaven. Again, here is what I tell you. Suppose 2 of you on earth agree about anything you ask for. My Father in heaven will do it for you. Where 2 or 3 people gather in my name, I am there with them. Peter came to Jesus. He asked, "Lord, how many times should I forgive my brother or sister who sins against me? Up to 7 times?" Jesus answered, "I tell you, not 7 times, but 77 times. The kingdom of heaven is like a king who wanted to collect all the money his servants owed him. As the king began to do it, a man who owed him 10,000 bags of gold was brought to him. The man was not able to pay, so his master gave an order. The man, his wife, his children, and all he owned had to be sold to pay back what he owed. Then the servant fell on his knees in front of him. "Give me time," he begged. "I'll pay everything back." His master felt sorry for him. He forgave him what he owed and let him go. But then that servant went out and found one of the other servants who owed him 100 silver coins. He grabbed him and began to choke him. "Pay back what you owe me," he said. The other servant fell on his knees. "Give me time," he begged him. "I'll pay it back." But the first servant refused. Instead, he went and had the man thrown into prison. The man would be held there until he could pay back what he owed. The other servants saw what had happened and were very angry. They went and told their master everything that had happened. Then the master called the first servant in. "You evil servant," he said. "I forgave all that you owed me because you begged me to. Shouldn't you have had mercy on the other servant just as I had mercy on you?" In anger, his master handed him over to the jailers. He would be punished until he paid back everything he owed. This is how my Father in heaven will treat each of you unless you forgive your brother or sister from your heart.